Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special event today. It is called Healing Through the Light That Sees You. Calm your mind, deepen your intuition, and restore your vision for a more vibrant, illuminated life. My name is Stephen Dynan. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network. And one of the things that I love about this job that I have is getting to explore new possibilities for transformation. We've never featured anyone who really focuses on the eyes and light. And even though that's really at the foundation, really, of illumination and enlightenment, that there's something very powerful and precise about working with the eyes. And we're going to get to explore with one of the world pioneers in this area. His name is Dr. Jacob Israel Lieberman. He's an author, speaker, and pioneer in light, vision, and consciousness. So Jacob, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Stephen, it's my great pleasure to begin my day with you today. Thank you.
Great. Well, I want to let everybody know right up front, we're going to have this hour, and Jacob will give us a lot of good insight and value. And we also have a brand new course with him coming up called The Light That Sees You, which is all about the intersection of energy, awareness, and vision to really uplift and illuminate your life. So more to come if you get inspired by today. So Jacob, I'd love to begin our time together here with a little bit about your journey and what propelled you into seeing these deeper dimensions of vision and light and the really opportunity for us to evolve in relationship with that.
You know, Stephen, I'm going to be 78 in November. And so I've had a pretty good bit of time living. And what I've discovered is that every experience upgrades the software of our humanity. So on one level, we want to say, well, this was the most important day, or this was the most important day, but every single event is like a spark of light that moves things in whatever the next direction is. And so, having been a competitive athlete, a rock and roll singer, a doctor, a scientist, husband, son, parent, and so on, I've had an opportunity to experience a great deal and to notice how my awareness has shifted. For me, some very, very powerful events occurred early in life. I was an immigrant, came to this country at the age of 7. English was my third language, and so reading was difficult for me. Schoolwork was challenging and fairly stressful. I remember taking my first test in college, and within minutes into it, I looked up at the blackboard for the questions, and my vision had gone blurry. The stress was so much that my vision system just contracted in the middle of that test. I had to go to the infirmary and get my first pair of glasses. But then a few things happened in the 1970s that were miraculous and life-changing. And what I got an opportunity is to experience something about how you can work with the visual system to optimize it. And it took me from a C student to a Dean's List student in very, very short order. Having been a kid with a lot of problems in school, it was like a light bulb went on in my head. And then in the mid-70s, I have this miraculous experience, and my eyesight spontaneously clears 300%, but with no change to the optical measurements of my eyes, leading me to realize that whatever is seeing within us is a lot more than the eye and a lot more than the mind. Having been someone who had problems with learning and so on, I prepared for everything like most of us do, getting very stressed out. And then I had an experience while giving a talk in 1977 where all my notes dropped on the floor. And in the midst of a cold sweat, I shared with the audience what had happened. And they laughed, and someone yelled out, "It happens to us all the time." And I realized we're all suffering from the same disease of being in the mind so much and trying so hard that it often obscures the natural genius within us. And that crisis led to a miraculous, lengthy talk with a standing ovation and a realization that I didn't have to work so hard, that something could actually occur free of charge. And so, what's gotten me here are a series of life experiences that have allowed me to realize that life isn't about working and thinking and making choices and so on. It's actually designed to guide us from one step to the next.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm excited about sharing.
Hmm. Well, thank you for that wise perspective. I love the way you're holding the whole of your journey as this deep unfolding. I want to go back to what you said about working with your eyes and visual system in a way that optimized, and then that led to radical improvements in how you were engaging schoolwork. And so I think that's a very interesting place to jump off into. What is it that you discovered about how to optimize working with our visual system that really unleashes more of our potential?
Well, one of the first things that comes to me when you ask that question is what is it within us that's seeing? Is it the eye? Is it the mind? Or is it that which is aware when the mind is chattering? And one of the things that's really created freedom for me in my life is a discovery of what my essence is. Because we've all been conditioned to believe that we are inseparable from this thing we call my mind. And yet, most of the stress we encounter is mental. 90% of disease is related to the stress, and most of that we were led to believe was thinking, but it's actually worrying. And so, recognizing what was seeing within me, which was well beyond the eyes, has allowed me to embrace a life that is continually guiding me rather than me looking for life. I've discovered that life is actually looking for me and taking me exactly where I need to be.
It's a beautiful pivot to like really wake up to the witnessing awareness that is deeper than just the sight. How did you, I know that you sort of specifically do this through, it's not just a meditative practice, it's more like also working with the portal of our eyes, and maybe share a little bit about the method for this deeper awakening to the witness behind the vision as well.
You know, there's a reason they call the eyes the windows of the soul.
Hmm.
And the eyes are a portal for light. Some of that light has to do with eyesight and vision and optimizing that aspect of our humanity. But most of that light that enters the eye has nothing to do with eyesight and vision. It has to do with directing every cell in the body to know what to do and when to do it and to what degree, so that our life is congruent and coherent with Mother Nature. And so that aspect is very profound because light is always guiding us into a state of oneness, even though very few of us are aware of that. And so the awareness of that by itself can be incredibly curative. Just the knowing, not the thinking, not the believing, but the absolute knowing of something can change a lifetime and can do it instantaneously. In terms of the eyes, most of us, when we think of our eyes, we think of reading an eye chart. But most of vision, the most important aspects of vision is that when something catches the eyes automatically turn toward it, converge, and develop what's called presence. And that presence comes with focus, which is clarity, which is a sense of knowing. And then we have two eyes that give us depth perception, which allows us to see deeply into things more than the superficial. What I'm sharing is that once you realize the enormous aspect that we call vision, you can actually do some very, very simple procedures that can optimize that visual function. And when that is optimized, presence, attention, focus, reading ability, learning ability, comprehension can dramatically shift. I experienced that for 5 minutes in 1971 before I knew anything about this. And all of a sudden, for the first time in my life, I read for an hour with the most impeccable attention and comprehension I had ever experienced. I started sobbing because I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was stupid. It was a complete life changer. And so, what has really created these shifts was having the direct experience, not so much reading about other people's work or even doing all kinds of exercises, but about having a direct, unfiltered experience that has allowed me to see, if you will, the truth that has the potential to set us free.
So it sounds like from what you're saying that part of what's happening is that we are actually constructing certain filters ourselves, and that you're kind of like it's releasing those filters to restore a more natural kind of soul-directed vision. Is that sort of what I'm hearing?
When a child is born, the infant has no idea what its skin coloration is. It doesn't know that it is separate from its mother or father. It has no sense of religiosity or preferences. It's living in oceanic bliss. And then the conditioning begins. You're a boy, you're a girl, you're black, you're white, you're Jewish or Catholic, and then it goes on, and that creates a persona, which essentially means a mask. And over time, we begin to believe that we're the mask. But persona comes from the Latin personare, which means to peer through. In other words, our essence is not the mask, it's that which is peering through the mask. It's not the mind, it's that which is noticing that shattering mind. Once we begin to uncover those truths through our own direct experience, our maximum potential all of a sudden emerges, not from doing more, but from doing less, and perhaps even from doing nothing at all, and recognizing that the body is continually responding naturally to whatever catches its eye, either the physical eye or the inner eye of intuition.
I wonder if you can start to, I know you have a whole program that you're going to be teaching in the upcoming course, but give us a little bit of insight into how some of these small shifts start to add up into that big shift that is like really grounding in the consciousness behind the eyes.
In quantum physics, they refer to what you just responded to as a quantum leap or a paradigm shift. It's like we go to sleep as one person and we awaken with a very different sense of reality, it's hard to tell exactly how that quantum leap occurs, because it occurs when we're not looking. It's not typically something that results where we do this, and this, and then all of a sudden we're in the state of enlightenment. For me, what I realize is what I want to share is my direct experience, not concepts, not ideas or theories, but truth. Because the word belief, which is essentially what the mind is constructed of, means the opposite of truth. Truth is what is directly experienced through unfiltered awareness. It's that first intuitive hit that our teachers used to say, that's always correct. They're the things that we know by heart. And so for me, I want to share the excitement of my life, of these discoveries, and I want to share how working with over 50,000 people over the last 50 plus years has continually upgraded my learning, my direct experience of what's possible. And sometimes just sharing what's possible opens up that possibility for the individual. So I'll be sharing those experiences. Will be providing them means that are authentic. Let me see if I can share that. The approach that I've used to enhancing vision and the approach that has come to me through many, many years of working with thousands of people with light and color are unique. They're not someone else that's something that someone else came up with. They came through direct experience of working with many people and noticing what the impact of that was. And so it's like the difference between listening to the Beatles in a live concert and listening to a CD. One is the original and one is the copy. I want to share what's original because for me, it keeps being original every time that I'm asked a question or have the opportunity to share about it. And that's why this is so exciting.
Mm. Well, I know you're going to have a lot to share in your upcoming course. And you want to give us a little taste of kind of an original practice insight that you can give people a little taste of. And I know you're going to do it
Sure.
experiential here soon.
You know, I imagine many people that will be attending are probably wearing eyeglasses, since so many people in the world have noticed that their eyesight is deteriorating. And so if you wear glasses, remove your glasses, put them down on the desk or the table, and allow yourself to just notice what's around you. How do things appear? Most of you may notice that things are a little fuzzier or not as clear, or maybe much blurrier than they were. And after you notice that, notice how you feel inside in response to that. Does it feel soft? Does it feel like some tightness has occurred? How do you feel when you experience life in this way? You feel uneasy, maybe a little anxious or out of control? Or are you just fine with this? Notice how you feel. Get a good sense of that. And now close your eyes for a moment and see if you can take yourself back to the time in your life when you got your first pair of glasses. How did you feel when you first put them on? Was it exciting because everything was clear? Or was it embarrassing because none of your friends wore glasses? What was the experience you were having? What did you notice when you wore them for a while and took them off? Was your vision blurry as it had been before you put them on? Or was it blurrier? Now close your eyes and let's go back a little bit further. Maybe the year or two before you got your first pair. What was happening in your life? And how did you feel about it? Was life very easy? Or were you feeling stressed for any number of reasons? Were you just having the time of your life? Or did maybe a grandparent pass away and maybe that caused some sadness? Did you have many friends? Or were you more of a loner? How did life feel for you during that period of time before you got your first pair of glasses? Notice for a second whether any of those feelings were similar to the feelings you felt when you just took your glasses off a few minutes ago. Now take a moment to close your eyes and place both of your hands over your heart, holding your heart, embracing yourself and the feelings you had at the time. Now just notice how your body naturally inflates and deflates. What you call breathing, except notice that it's happening all by itself, without you. Now that you've embraced your heart, your feelings, and your totality, I want you to consider what it may feel like to embrace your head and your face, which contain your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your brain, the mind, that part of your body that's very active all day long, and that you also have to hold erect. And now what I'd like you to do is allow your hands to fold one in front of the other, just the way I am doing here. Then bring both of your palms until you touch your face, each one cupping over one side of your face. Now gently lean forward if you're at a desk or at a table. Lean forward from your waist and allow your elbows to touch the table. And now let your eyes, your face, your head, your neck, your shoulders, the mind, let it all just melt into the palm of your hands as your body rhythmically inflates and deflates. Just continue allowing everything to just melt, to soften, to fully relax. Continue to notice how the body breathes for you. There's nothing for you to do. Now, as the body begins to inhale, gently straighten yourself out again. Remove your hands from your eyes. Slowly open your eyes and notice how the world looks and feels now. Enjoy that feeling. It's yours whenever you need it. If there's a window nearby and you're able to look at the window, turn yourself toward it. If there is no window nearby, use your monitor as if it were a window. Just keep looking softly. And now allow your eyes, whenever they want, to move to one side of the monitor or the window, to one edge, and then to the opposite side. And as the eyes move on their own, allow your vision to be really big. So the eyes are looking at something and at the same time noticing everything around. Now bring yourself to the center of the window or the monitor, and now move your eyes from the upper border of the monitor, and then let the eyes move to the lower border. You don't need to move the eyes. They will move on their own whenever they're ready. This is what they do naturally. You don't have to look at anything because your eyes are meant to see for you. You don't have to think about what to do next. because what catches your eye is looking for you and guiding you automatically, effortlessly to the next thing that requires your attention. Come back to the center of your monitor and now allow the eyes to move from the upper left-hand corner of the monitor or window to the lower right-hand corner. Allow the eyes to move whenever they move, however they move. Keep noticing that even though the eyes are looking at something, you're still aware of everything. Now come back to the center of the screen and now allow the eyes to move from the upper right-hand corner of the monitor or window to the lower left-hand corner. When the eyes just naturally move, nothing else is interfered with. When we move the eyes voluntarily, which is normal but not natural, it causes the body's mechanism that breathes for us to get locked up. Just allow. Come back to the center of the screen and now look way off into the distance. And now back at the monitor. Off to the distance. Back to the monitor. Off to the distance. And now when we come back, allow the hands to come together as they did before. Cup the face softly and gently. Move forward until the elbows touch the desk or table or your knees if you're sitting somewhere else. And let your being, your entire being, melt until you're into your caring, loving. Allow the warmth of your hands to warm up your eyes, to soften your brain, to come back to a place where everything was taken care of for you, just like it was when you came out of your mother. That wasn't a temporary state. That was you experiencing your natural state. Now gently bring yourself up again. Let your hands come down. And when you feel ready, just gently open your eyes. Allow them to discover the world around you. Let your lips smile. This is the way life is meant to feel. Thank God we're home.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a beautiful, beautiful practice there, Jacob. I love that you're sort of reorienting to this, the natural unfolding that your eyes, as they're guided, is exactly what you need next. So it's sort of almost trusting the higher intelligence moving through them. That's beautiful.
You know, Stephen, there's nothing in our body that is designed to initiate action. Everything is designed to continually respond to the world that is continually changing. There's no doing required, but we have been conditioned to do, to think ahead, to worry a great deal, even though most of our worries never occur. And the mind is an incredibly inaccurate function. So this experience that I shared is the way I live.
That's a
If
beautiful
this is
way to
what
live.
goes on, this is what goes on in my life, whether I'm working with someone, or whether I go to a local coffee shop, or whether I'm with my son or my daughter, or with my wife, or with someone like yourself who I've never met before. I allow life to always have the first serve, designed to work that way. And that requires no effort on our part because the body responds automatically. And even all the thinking we were led to believe that is required to come up with what we believe is the answers come free of charge when we're not looking. I remember Einstein being interviewed by a journalist who said, "Mr. Einstein, how did you come up with the theory of relativity?" And Einstein started laughing and he said, "Oh, that happened while I was playing piano or violin. I don't remember exactly." And the point he was sharing is all of the insights, all of the discoveries, they don't come from us. They come to us when we're not looking, when we're not trying. And that's what I have discovered through my life. And that's what's integrated my life now.
It's beautiful.
Look forward to sharing it with those that will attend our course.
Yeah, so there's a real shift from the eyes as sort of like a function of trying to see and do something to eyes as just natural receptor of life to let it come in.
90% of our life experience enters by way of the eyes. 90%. And 98% of the light that impinges the body enters via the eyes. And so the eyes, as I mentioned before, are called the windows of the soul, but light through the eyes goes to the part of the brain called the seat of the soul. Those are not just expressions. They are absolute truths based on my own direct experience. And we have all been led to believe that our eyes see the visible. But the largest aspect of our vision sees that which is yet not visible. And so what we call our intuition is inseparable from our survival. It must be 100% accurate. And so most of the cells in the eyes are designed to detect and respond to single photons photons are not material objects. They are the most fundamental energy from where life emerges. And so when vision is really working at its optimal level, we detect and respond to that which has yet not occurred. And there's no thought required, there's no work required. It's an effortless process.
So beautiful. Well, this is much more deeply metaphysical and mystical than I was expecting. And I also want to go back to a piece that you shared in your guided process where there was a clearing or an opening to what preceded glasses, and that there was sort of like a reset almost of where we were stressed, we were tension patterns. So it sort of seems like part of the method you're doing is it's like you're unwinding some of these places of contraction or stress that then led to a kind of an over trying, if you will, with your eyes. It sounds so
You
beautiful.
know, what I have discovered over the years is so much of the vision loss, which, by the way, is the biggest health epidemic in the world right now, is related to emotional experiences that occurred at a time when we had no sense of how to be with them or how to digest them and assimilate them and excrete them. And so it causes something to close down. And what closes down is vision in the same ways when an infant or a child sees something scary, they cover their eyes. Well, you can cover your eyes with your hands, or something can occur that blurs out that which may feel a bit intimidating for us.
Hmm.
So just the awareness of that can often shift vision instantaneously. The other thing I've noticed about my discoveries is that they occur in the moment. This whole idea of, oh, you have to do this over and over, and it takes 20 days of practice to change your wire. No, it doesn't. An epiphany is the most potent neuroplastic stimulus that can occur. Literally seeing something in a way we've never seen it creates instantaneous wiring in our brain, rewiring to occur. And so change is possible throughout a lifetime, and it can be very profound, and it may not require any practice whatsoever to maintain it. Once it's there, your life becomes the process by which everything is continually fine-tuned.
Gorgeous. Jacob, you are just a very wise and profound man. So thank you for sharing already what you've shared. And I want to spend some time now talking about your upcoming course in more detail for folks who want to go deeper and really see our sight and vision as a portal to this deeper kind of awakening that you're speaking to, of a different orientation to life, to really allowing it in a field of grace and beauty to sort of open to us rather than try to make certain things happen. So it's sort of a very beautiful stance you have. And so the course that Jacob is teaching is called The Light That Sees You, exploring the intersection of energy, awareness, and vision to illuminate your life. It's at the URL letthelightseeyou.com, letthelightseeyou.com. It's a 7-week program, and it's going to be a very deep spiritual exploration that also has very practical benefits in terms of your sight and your ability to really allow your eyes to do what they were truly meant to do. And so let's, Jacob, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your intentions for the program and what people will come away with, and then we can go through the modules and give a preview what's coming.
I want to give them everything I have to give. I want to share one thing. You said before you use the term metaphysical and mystical. What the scientist discovers through a microscope, a telescope, and gold standard studies, the mystic is exploring the exact same phenomenon, but they experience it through direct experience, unfiltered awareness. Aside from having been an optometrist, I was also a vision scientist. So I want to share that one of the blessings I've had is to both be, having been a sensitive my whole life, and having also spent many years researching as a clinician, as a researcher. I have published papers in peer-reviewed studies. I have taken things through the FDA and developed instrumentation to accomplish many of these things. So what I want to share with you is I get to integrate it all into perhaps a spiritual science of life. Having said that, what will I share during that course? I will share my life experience so we have a direct experiential resonance with what occurred for me, what came to me about that, the insights, and then how I was able to share that through some exercises, processes that allowed my patients, clients, my children to experience life directly. So, for instance, the insights I shared before, the experiences, they taught me something about light, but not what we all know that, oh, light, we turn on the light and everything is bright, but that light is actually invisible. You cannot see light. But yet every function of the body is light dependent, and the light entering the body primarily through the eyes is continually bringing the inside of our bodies with the inside of Mother Nature so that we are dancing harmoniously in rhythm with each other. And so there's so much talk today about awakening and being enlightened and all that. Light does that for us at no charge. But no one knows that. And so we're unaware of what's going on, but the awareness becomes curative, and very subtle little practices like taking a walk can have incredible benefits for every aspect of our health and wellness. I will share the experience I had that not only improved my vision and took me from a very average student to a Dean's List student with multiple doctorates, something I never imagined would occur in my life, to how these simple little skills that I will share during the course, individuals can do for 1 minute, maybe once or twice a day. Why is 1 minute important? I'm not a lover of homework. We are all used to learning a new thing, doing it for 10 days, and then it's finished. I want to share things that profoundly shift our brain while we're experiencing them, so that the brain is literally getting rewired, and then it just becomes part of our life. I used to do some of these exercises for a very short period of time, and then they were mine. I owned them. There was no need to do anything. And so most of the things that I share are just about upgrading awareness so that we see something in such a way that it starts to alter our entire system. So I'll speak of light. I'll share some very profound things about what vision is and how it works and how it's inseparable from what we call intuition. And just knowing that will shift things. And then I want to spend a good bit of time talking about what mind is and what mind is not. Because I realize that hardly anyone speaks of this. Most everything we learn is something conceptual that requires you to do something. But learning doesn't occur that way. It occurs effortlessly. I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of children who, like myself, had attentional problems, learning disabilities. They were all labeled, something's wrong with me. Not a damn thing was wrong with them. They were geniuses, but they were working so hard that their genius couldn't come out. And so I had to develop ways of allowing them to experience what happened when they think. Does it actually bring them to the answer and the conclusion we've all been led to believe? Or does something else actually occur? Does thinking actually impede learning? Or does it accelerate as we've been led to believe? And does learning occur by thinking? Or does it occur when the mind is empty? And not only the knowledge of that will start to shift things, but I want to start sharing how the practice of meditation can be no practice at all, but allowing our life to become the meditation. So certain exercises and techniques that I'll share that are fun are things that not only are worked with thousands of children that had learning difficulties, even though they had no learning difficulties, and many of them ended up going to medical school and becoming professionals that I saw years and years later because they came to a book signing after my books came out. How the hell did I become an author? I was not a reader, yet things are coming through me now. So I'm an example of how crisis can lead to opportunity and can actually be the opportunity. That's the place from where I share from. That same learning, I've trained police recruits, I've trained Olympic and professional athletes how to transform their life into the zone. So it's not just that they have their best game when they're competing, but they also have their best life. Because as you know, Stephen, we've all become successful at everything except life. And so for me, at the end of the day, all of the science and the healing and all that is good if it becomes integrated into our life. And then I will share how color, discoveries I made about how colors we like and dislike are directly related to the experiences that when we had them brought us into a state of peace and harmony. And those experiences that when we had created an allergic reaction. Because stress is when we have an allergic reaction to some aspect of life. Color can help desensitize us from those triggering events. And when we become comfortable with what used to feel uncomfortable, everything in life changes. And this work I will allow people to directly experience. I will share a color analysis that would allow each participant to notice the colors that they're receptive to and their colors they're unreceptive to, and how that not only relates to what creates stress in their life, but where physiological and physical issues might develop in their life in terms of their body, and how to work with color at home to help to dissolve and desensitize many of these stressors. And then the final session will be integrating this body of life experiences and discoveries into a new way of seeing and a new way of being, so that our life becomes a living meditation. And so that all of the preparation and everything we've done our whole life can finally just be released, and we can have our life of reward.
Well, what a magnificent curriculum and a way to just synthesize a life well lived. And you've done so much, Jacob, in your life, and it's really clear that it's just to live in that beautiful, radiant way is the fruit of a life well lived. So thank you for creating this curriculum. Again, there's more detail at letthelightseeyou.com. In addition to the 7 90-minute live sessions with Jacob, which he just kind of walked you through, you'll have time to ask your questions live. You'll get recordings of every session with video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts. There's weekly exercises you can do at home. There's a Facebook community to support you and deepen your experience. And on the page, you'll also see there are a number of extra bonuses that Jacob has graciously offered into this program. There's a 2-part audio series called Being Present. Jacob, you want to share anything about that 2-part audio series?
Since 1977, I have not prepared a talk or an interview, and I've done more than 2,000 public presentations. And I'm not talking about podcasts, I'm talking about where I've been invited to share. And so the gifts that we wanted people to have are all expressions of something that comes out live. It's not pre-recorded. It's not prepared for perfection. It's breathing, it's living, it's live. It's the real thing, and it's being shared by a human being, a just normal human being like everyone else. Because I used to prepare everything in my life because I was scared to death. I wanted it to be perfect. Now, every time someone asks a question, and all of a sudden the answer comes by itself, and it's new even to me. And it often brings tears to my eyes. I'm feeling it right this moment because it's so magical to realize we've been led to work so hard our whole life. It's all happening without us.
What a beautiful perspective, and that's part of the bonus of being present as a part of this beautiful program. So on the page, you'll also see there are a number of extra bonuses that we'll also go through. There's a PDF book from Jacob called Wisdom from an Empty Mind. And the last bonus is one that's very special that is available when you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. There's a video from Jacob called Color Therapy Masterclass. You want to share a little bit more about what's in the Color Therapy Masterclass, Jacob?
Yeah, I'd love to. Most of my work these days, aside from speaking and writing, is I mentor a small number of people who want to have that direct experience with me and who I want to have a direct experience with them. It's a mutual, special sort of friendship. And all of them get to experience this color work. And so I invited all of those people who had worked with me directly to see if they wanted to take part in a little online masterclass where I could share even more about it, because many of them were so moved by the work that they now are sharing it with others, which is, of course, the greatest gift that can happen for a teacher, is that the student becomes the teacher and the work lives on with the benefit of the new awarenesses and the new discoveries of the new teacher.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to share that because I felt it would give people a beautiful insight about a magnificent body of work with light, which I first introduced in 1991 with my first book, Light Medicine of the Future. And now it gets an opportunity to be shared with your audience, which I'm very, very excited about. So these gifts are my way of saying thank you.
Well, thank you, Jacob. So that's your color therapy masterclass is your bonus when you sign up today. So this is clearly going to be an amazing program. Jacob is a very realized teacher, a vision, and clearly deep on a spiritual awakening path, and has a very unique synthesis of these two. So we've kept the investment for this program very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128, or you save 10%. You pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start July 14th and run Mondays at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. There's some beautiful endorsements of Jacob's work from people like Deepak Chopra, Larry Dossey, Bruce Lipton. He's really at the forefront of this whole field. So you are in good hands and you will be very blessed, I'm quite sure. So if you feel called to move forward, please do so. And all the details are at letthelightseeyou.com, and you'll get that special bonus if you sign up by midnight tonight, which is the Color Therapy Masterclass. Well, Jacob, it's been a really, truly illuminating hour with you today. So thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. Anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the full course with you?
You know what's coming to me, Stephen? First of all, thank you so much for the Shift Network inviting me to share this and to begin to start my day in Maui, where I live, having this lovely conversation. It really puts a smile on my heart. And yeah, it's what makes life worth living. When you asked that, the first thing that came to me is one of the most powerful written message I've ever read. There's a few of them, but one of them was written by a Zen patriarch 1800 years ago. And it's a lengthy piece, but the first verse goes like this: The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences.
Hmm.
When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Make the slightest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to see the truth, hold no opinions for or against anything. So that's just the beginning of that piece, which is so profound. And then I will leave you with one more beautiful expression, which I very much identify with. It came from Gandhi. He had given a beautiful talk in front of thousands of people in India. And when he finished, he boarded the train. And as the train was pulling out of the station, Gandhi was waving to the crowds. And all of a sudden, a journalist runs up to where Gandhi is, running along with the train. He says, Mr. Gandhi, what's your message for the people? And Gandhi looks at him and he says, my life is my message. This is what this body of work is about. It's not about how to fix your eyesight. It's not about how to heal you, because there's nothing wrong with any of us. It's how we can have a life that no matter how long we live, we're having a grateful day. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Hmm. What a beautiful embodiment of your message. Thank you, Jacob. It's really been a pleasure and honor to get to know you in this hour. And thank you all for joining. And if you'd like to go further in this beautiful work, you can do so at letthelightseeyou.com, and you'll get that special color therapy masterclass when you sign up by midnight tonight. So thank you so much. Many blessings.